Hi, so today I want to talk a little bit about why we can't let go sometimes. So let's back it up. Let's think of a scenario that you're having trouble letting go of. Think of the scenario. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a place, maybe it's a thing, maybe it's a job, maybe it's an emotion, maybe whatever this thing is. So think about this thing in your mind. What is this thing that you're attached to? What is this thing that you just can't let go of? And now let's take that thing and let's ask ourselves, what is the meaning behind that thing? What is the meaning of this attachment? What does this attachment mean to you? And why is it so important to stay connected to it? And I think what people will find out as you ask yourself this question is you realize that it's not really this thing that you're attached to, it's the meaning behind it. So let's say you're in a relationship and you know this relationship isn't good for you and you'd like to get out of it. You're ready to get out of it. You've been done for a while now, but you just can't let go. Or maybe you've even broken up with this person, but you're still talking to them. You just can't let go. So let's ask ourselves, what could this mean? What meaning are you giving to this connection, to this attachment? So maybe this relationship has been going on for a long time. And maybe for you, feeling like you let go of it is maybe somehow that means you're a failure. Maybe that's what you're telling yourself. Maybe you're like, if I end this relationship, I'm a failure because I didn't do enough, or I'm not enough, or they didn't love me, so I am not good enough. So like, what does it mean to you? And why is this meaning so important? And what we'll find out the more we ask ourselves, what is this meaning behind it? You start to get deeper and deeper and deeper. And you start to realize that this meaning, that wherever this meaning is coming from, is usually from a source of fear. It's usually from a source of lack. And it's something that's telling us that we don't, we're not enough. We're not able to achieve what we truly want. So let's say it's a job, and let's say you have this fear and you say, if I leave this job, I'm going to be broke. That's a huge, huge fear, right? I understand. That makes sense. But at the same time, you also have to have confidence mixed in there too. And if you were to transmute that fear to love, how could this situation change? If you were able to transmute your fear to love in this attachment situation, how would it be easier for you? So let's take a relationship example again, because those are very, very common for us to be attached to people and attached to relationships and not want to give up. And so let's take that example of, if I end this relationship, I'm a failure because I didn't do enough. So how can we change that failure mindset to a love mindset towards ourselves? So no matter what the situation is with this person, we know that the only thing that we have control over, and sometimes we don't even feel like we do, is ourselves, our own bodies, our own actions, our own thoughts. I mean, sometimes they don't feel like they're coming from us, but they're still coming from us, from somewhere within us. So let's say that thought of, I'm a failure if I end this relationship. That fear comes from you feeling like, maybe if we take it back, you have failures that you've experienced in your life. And this is like maybe the one thing that you're hanging on to that's telling you that you have any sort of worth. Maybe you're attaching your worth. You're attaching your sense of your life success onto this relationship and the progress and the time that you've spent with this person. But the amount of time, there's this funny saying actually, and it's like, just because you've made a mistake for a long time doesn't mean you have to keep making it. I'm going to let that one sink in. Just because you've made a mistake for a long time doesn't mean you have to keep making it. You can overcome and change at any moment that you want to shift the situation. So why can't you let go? Why can't you let go? Because of fear. There is a fear somewhere. And I'm going to challenge you to ask yourself, what is the fear I have in letting go? And why is that fear so important to me? And let's say, what would happen? Let's say you're like, okay, well, my worst fear is being alone. And let's say you're like, if I end this relationship, I'll be alone. And that's my worst fear. I'm going to say something. So what? What happens if you're alone? What happens? Do you self-destruct? Do you spontaneously combust? Do you lose your mind? Do you go crazy? I mean, what happens if you're alone? I mean, oh Lord, if you're alone, what happens? I mean, ask yourself that. Keep asking yourself these fears like, okay, if I'm alone, then what happens? Okay, and then what happens? And then what happens? And keep asking yourself that question. Well, then what? Then what? Then what? And if you start digging into it, you're going to what's going to happen is you're going to learn a lot about yourself, because you're going to realize you got way more fears than you realize. And you're going to realize that these fears have been motivating you. The fears have been running your life, because the more you ask yourself, why am I not doing all these things I want to do? Why am I not letting go? Why am I not this? It's because of those fears. And the more you back it up, okay, I'm afraid of being alone. Well, why are you afraid of being alone? Because I don't trust myself, or because I don't feel like I'm anybody if I'm not with somebody. Those are opportunities for you to go in. So why can't you let go? Because you're scared. And why are you scared? Probably because of some insecurities, probably from some childhood trauma, probably from some patterns of behavior that you're used to, probably from some comfortability that you're just acting out in this scenario. So here's what you can do. Here's how you can get over that letting go piece. There's a couple ways to do it. One, just do it. You can just do it and then deal with it afterwards, right? Because it's never as bad as we think it is. It's never as bad as we think it is. It's really not. We come up with these scenarios in our head that are so terrible, and the reality is never that bad. So there's that scenario. There's the two, start going in. Start focusing on you, focusing on those fears, those worries, understanding where they come from, understanding how to work through them, understanding how to let those fears go. And as you do that, the things externally are just going to change. They're going to change. And it's all going to work out. So start working on that fear. So instead of working on letting go of these things that you have, that you're attached to, if you let go of the fear behind them, the things themselves will just automatically go away. They'll automatically leave your life because you won't have that fear anymore. So I'm here to say you can do it. And I believe in you. And I know that it's hard. And I know that it's scary. And I know that there's a lot of things that are going to come up for you. And every time they come up, people are just like, oh, no. But you know what? It's going to be okay. It's never as scary as you think it is. And think about every scary thing you've ever done, every fear you've ever had. How did you feel afterwards? You did it. And you can do this too. You can let go, y'all. You can do it. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. And that's okay too. Everyone is in their own timeline, their own pace. Okay? So good luck. I'm proud of you. You're doing great. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.